Hi guys, this is Save Joad coming back on topic that is talked about a lot, ChatGPT, AI, what it can mean for your work and your environment. So yeah, I have been interested in the topic because basically I have no idea what it does and why. And I thought to myself, okay, so what's all the fuss about? And I'm a software developer, and what can it do for me? So I went online and I started asking it a question. First ones were very silly, like talking to a person, but then I thought, this is not, this is fun, but is it also useful? And I thought to myself, let's ask it something technical, like I've been talking about code complexity, and does it know anything about it? And I was a bit surprised actually, because it gave me an answer that it wasn't like really talking to a person and that really knows stuff. It just spewed out a few cliches. But what it did do, and that's the interesting part, is that it collected useful information and actually touching upon the topic that I was inquiring about. And it was not totally useless. And that intrigued me. Like, okay, so this is like a subject that not many people on the world keeping themselves busy asking about. And, well, it could collect that information and put it on a dish and serve it to me. Okay, what can it do more? So I had been inquiring also between colleagues, etc., and other peers of what would you consider code quality to be, and I thought, okay, well, let's see if it knows something information about code quality, and it did give me some insightful information that I have already searched and learned by myself. Of course, it gave me summarized information that wasn't in depth, but if you would go into zooming in on a specific subject, then it would give you also more in-depth information. But you have to formulate the questions right, and so on and so on. And then I thought, okay, let's try. Apparently, some colleagues also told me that it could write code. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. Let's see what it can write code. And not to bore you too much, but let's go and have a look actually. This is ChatGPT. I'm going to use it. I'm going to tell it like, what is code complexity? And it will tell you a few things. What it distilled, something that I already knew. Code complexity is not a thing. There are like measures that can measure the complexity of code based on certain metrics. So it does give me a lot of useful information, as you see, about code complexity. Okay, so it does know something. It does not know because it's not a person, but it did serve some information about cyclomatic complexity, and actually it was very interesting because it's being a widely used metric. And then it talked about the Halstead, so a bit of the history of the complexity measures, and then it went on to the cognitive complexity, and so on and so on, and where it is being used. And okay, so this is useful information. I'm asking it a question instead of searching the internet through. If I do the same with Google, I'm going to show you. What is code complexity, right? So we're gonna go, and then there are many sites that I have read one by one to come to my own distilled information at the end, but they give you a nice pages filled with a lot of stories and definitions and explanations, and it's fun. It's fun, but it takes a lot of time to sift through all that information, absorb it, take the summary that you need, and then zoom in on that specific information. So basically, it did that already for me. It zoomed in, gave me a few notes that I could zoom in myself and what interests me the most. Lovely, beautiful. So now I'm going to see what I can do with this model because it is very handy. I have code. Yes, there it is. Code complexity. This window. That's what we need. And let's see. This one I have, as you can see, it is horrible code. It has a very high complexity. And it says here that the complexity here is 73. So this one uses the Halstead method and maybe some other interpretation. Complexity measurement is also dependent on the capabilities of your language, and the interpreters that are being written are also related to it is comprised. So anyhow, this is one of the calculations. It is saying, okay, complexity is 70. Let's copy this code and then go here. Can you measure the complexity in the following? Right. So it is going to analyze with the cyclomatic complexity, do some stuff. Right, so it is telling me quite a few things, but I'm interested in the cyclomatic complexity. Give me the cyclomatic. No, I'm not being very polite. I didn't tell it, give me please. But let's see what it does. I'll put the please behind it. So it is citing a formula and it's doing some other stuff and it's talking about my argument. Oh, so it is analyzing my code. Well, I'm just gonna let it go on. Let's see what it does. It says if we count all these decision points together, we get, I know it's not 11. It is wrong. I know it is not 11. I have tried this and I have checked it also on SonarQube and multiple tools. It is not 11. So yes, it did do all kinds of analysis and it did kind of some reasoning and it came out wrong. Nevertheless, it did try to answer my question and it's not totally useless. So let's see, if we have this code, right? And according to my colleagues, it can better code. It can write better code, optimize code. So I'm going to tell, can you optimize this code? Can you optimize my code so it is less complex, more readable? Let's see what it does. So it's going to do stuff. Oh, that's nice. It is taking the weights. It analyzed that I do use weights, and I do, because the BSN, the Burger Service Number, which is the Social Security number, weights that are used. So it took it out. It took my bank weights out. So to lessen the code, and it is actually reducing the code into some logical parts. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I am very, very excited to see if it does, because if it does, that's actually cool. I mean, I can already see that I can do some things in a different way because I'm a human and I like functional programming exam, but this is not bad still. So let's see if this code actually works. I'm very, very excited to see. I haven't tried this before, so we're going to do, copy code. There's a thing here. And I'm going to, before we start doing anything really, I want to do a check with my Maven and clean. I'm just gonna try to build it, making sure that we're not, if it breaks because of the new code, then we have learned something new. I have to configure the SDK because I reinstalled the computer and apply. It's going to do stuff, hopefully. It's running and the target release. Okay, so it is a setting thing here. Control Shift. I'm gonna need to go and lower it down to set. Do it again. I've installed 17 because Java JDK Java Development Kit 17 on my computer because it is a long time support version and the 18 is not. Anyhow, it builds. That means that the tests we have, and we do have a few tests, very simple tests that are testing some the validation, and the generation functionality. So anyhow, we have tests, they are valid. Now I'm gonna put the new code in, made a boo-boo. This is the test class. I wanted to override this class. So now, supposedly it has overridden the code. So it does have a number checking. It has a generation module. Generate, and actually this is the basic functionality. This is actually not bad at all. I mean, the effort I have put into it, into making it unreadable, was more than the effort that the ChatGPT has done to simplify it. So kind of grateful, actually. I have the simplified version, the worked out version, but let's see if it works, right? So run the installation and the code, and it builds fantastic. It did do something, and it is not bad. I have to agree, it is not bad. I mean, I have done it differently, and in my opinion better, but who am I? But it did not do a bad job. See, the complexity of each section is not that high. It is readable, and it does what I had built it to do. That's not bad. I'm very impressed. So this is an example of something that worked, because I have tried something else and it did not work. But this one worked, and well, at least you can see how it can help you in some few tasks. Of course, if you don't have tests and if you don't have a working situation already and you're trying to go from scratch, that's a different story. Maybe we can do that some other time. But for now, I think this is a cute test. And it is not a bad test for you and me to enjoy the next time we would like to sit down and use ChatGPT or other AI to help us during the programming. And so, yeah, my experience with ChatGPT was that it was actually not bad. It does not work all the time. Most of the time, it doesn't give you a working answer, but it does point you in the right direction. And in this example that I just showed you, it is actually quite useful because it did it out of the box. I wasn't expecting that it would work, actually, because I've tried this like a few times with other pieces of code and it just broke. So this is cool. And have fun, try it out. It's not a waste of your time. I can promise you this. And I'm wondering what other companies are going to introduce that are similar to the ChatGPT. Google hasn't given me any access to Bard. But yeah, when it does, I'm going to certainly give it some time and thought and test it out. Hopefully I get on the program. So if Google is listening, please give me access. Anyhow, thank you very much. Everybody have fun and enjoy working, and I'll come back next time with other videos about unit testing and how you can do it. Hopefully I can show you maybe a combination of how to do it yourself or let ChatGPT make some useful examples for you to follow, and then you can expand on it yourself. Have a great night. Bye-bye.